ago, I was on CNBC's breaking news team, and there was a milestone SpaceX launch that was happening over the weekend. And my editor asked for someone to just work a couple extra hours over the weekend and, cover this launch because, as now SpaceX has scientists who are focused on that on their day job. And I don't blame them at all for maybe not understanding, why a reporter would, want to find out information and want to, keep up to date on program success and or failures, right? So I'll step back a little bit here and I'll say that first and foremost, my job as a reporter, it has been always to find out what the facts of record are. The phrase, being on the record is an indication to show people that this is something that is going to be attributed to a person who represents an organization and who said a specific thing that I am, entering into essentially the public record. And so that's the bread and butter of what I do is simply just try to find out, information, cite it accurately, and deliver it to people, whether it's through publishing articles or even just, I really started to try to use social media as a way to provide updates on a lot of the companies and different people that I report on, mostly because sometimes there's smaller updates that are great little bite-sized pieces for social media, but maybe aren't, worth a full article for CNBC, but it helps people who really want to keep up with the industry and want to keep up with what else is happening, whether it's a competitor or a partner, or even just, some people who are space enthusiasts. But anything that has a significant implication on the way that we can either robotically or through human control manufacture and operate in space is, I think, the most exciting application in terms of how the industry can then benefit life on Earth in the long run. Because I think that's one of the main goals, especially if anything, is that the point of creating wealth and the point of building these successful businesses is so that humanity is better off for it. And the thing that captures the human imagination, and I'll say more broadly about the industry, is and it has been and probably will always be human spaceflight. So any kind of flying astronauts to space is incredible and is an achievement like with that SpaceX had earlier this year with flying NASA astronauts for the first time. That should be celebrated, and we get excited because that we can connect with it as human beings so well, and we can kind of almost see ourselves in those astronauts and see ourselves flying in that capsule. And so I think that it's never going to be necessarily the most valuable piece of the space economy. I mean, you look at any economy, and human transportation is not the most valuable piece of that economy. Moving cargo, moving information is, and so that's where I think that's what gets me excited, is about kind of expanding the possibilities of any type of manufacturing and operations that we can do. Human beings to the moon and back multiple times. It's why those accomplishments kind of languished for years, because the incentive for going for space was not because there was a marketplace that other people aside from the government were seeking and thought was achievable. And so that's the biggest difference I've seen, is now today, in a way that, other people maybe weren't seeking before, there's individuals and entities beyond the government that are creating a marketplace more organically. And the government still has a very, very heavy hand in today's marketplace, as we've mentioned previously. So it's not to say that it's wholly different, but the increase of this marketplace as a place of kind of doing business and having opportunities and people taking risks beyond just what the government and military are willing to fund, that's where you see innovation. That's where you see a broader market creation that then, kind of draws in a more powerful industry and a more sustainable industry that grows beyond just what that individual government was seeking to accomplish. I think, that's probably the biggest difference I would see between that era and today's. And I think you can point to it pretty quantitatively in just the source of capital. I mean, today, yes, there's still billions of dollars in national security launch contracts and billions of dollars in NASA contracts for exploration missions and, new vehicles to fly astronauts, et cetera. However, there's also billions of dollars in private capital and new investment coming in. And even now, slowly, beyond just the kind of satellite and telecom world, more even public market capital being invested and people buying into, companies like Virgin Galactic and Maxar Technologies and Iridium Communications, right? So you have this market interest that sees, has an incentive that goes beyond just what the government's doing in space, which is what I would characterize as the sole incentive of that prior era.